Shifting News. Explore, feel, shift.
Hello good people, and it's a pleasure. I welcome you back to Shifting News, always your great channel with amazing views, covering different areas, and I think you can all see where we are. This is the Kencom area, Kencom stage, and we have different vehicles. Over there we have vehicles that can take you to Wanye, that is for W, we have to 46, and we have also to Kenyatta. For our returning supporters, we say thank you because you are great people. Thank you for the 9,500 subscribers, and we are still growing strong. Very soon, 10,000 subscribers coming. So this is the Kencom area, as you have seen over there. That is the former Hilton Hotel. Then we have International House here in Nairobi, and those vehicles, you can take vehicles to Kenyatta, to Kawangware, and also to different other places within Nairobi city. And today we are privileged to have the guy. To our new visitors, make sure you join this amazing family, subscribe, hit the notification bell to receive all notifications once we upload a new video. Oh, welcome. I had forgotten to welcome you officially.
Thank you so much. I'll start by briefly saying that we are close to a decade since Africa got independent.
Africa?
Yes, the whole of Africa, because cumulatively there were those which got it first up to the last one which now became independent latest. So we are almost heading to 1 century, not a decade. Yes, 1 century. And something very special related to that is happening. Back then, people are moving from Africa going to developed countries like US, Germany, and the rest. But in today's episode, we are going to talk about something that's going to attract your attention. Wow. We have people relocating now from US, intentionally coming back to Kenya. So once again, my name is Walter, and I'm very glad to be joining you today. We are very happy to be in this family of Shifting News, bringing you episodes after episodes that show you how Nairobi is developing, how Kenya is developing, and all infrastructure development. So today, as I said, be with us, get to know why we have companies and organizations coming to Kenya.
Did you say people relocating, or is it expatriates?
Fortunately, now we expected that we are in industrialization 4.0, where people don't need to move physically. But now organizations are moving physically to Kenya.
And especially Nairobi?
Yes, they are coming to Nairobi.
What could be the reason?
We'll get to know why those reasons are there. That's why I want you to be with us all through this episode. Get to know which organizations are relocating to Nairobi and why they are relocating to Nairobi, and is it a best fit? So be with us all through this lesson. But now, before we complete, there's something very special that Alpha wanted to capture today. In Nairobi, we are standing, a very unique development that was going on. So you'll take over and show us really what is it that we're keeping as a surprise for our subscribers.
I think you have heard, that means Nairobi is growing, becoming the mantra. They say mantra of Africa.
Yes, we have so many words. And actually, why Nairobi has been chosen in Kenya,
yes,
for that reason is because of English speaking. But you get to know all this.
Okay, before we showcase where we are going, as we explained, because we are going to deal with the specific roads for the migration or relocation of people. So let us show you the construction activities that are happening along the Kencom area. That is the Kencom pedestrian walkway.
So fortunately, this one will not have taken place today.
Which one?
Whatever we are showcasing right now, we will not have managed to capture it.
Yes.
But thanks to the Gen Z Mandamano recently.
Do you mean they're the ones who...
Yes, the ones who managed to break that perimeter wall. You can see now we have access to this. It would not have been easy.
But the construction now is going on well, because the last time we were, and you can see workers on site.
Yes, you can. This one was hidden for quite some time.
You know, some people, almost some people said there were plans to, let me not say that word.
Okay. So what they're dealing with right now is drainage system mainly.
Yeah.
And as I said, Alpha had it as a surprise. You tell us what is going on. Yeah.
No, okay. In general terms, Nairobi is trying to improve, and I think is in relation to what you said we are going to show people, because a lot is happening. The upgrades, though some of these upgrades people say they are low quality, then some of these upgrades happen, then kuna maandamano ya amani inakuja ina nini kidogo, it comes, interferes with them a little bit. So I believe hizi concrete that tunaona most likely kutakuwa na trees along these areas. Tunaona ni kama wanazicage.
So is it I think it's a continuation of what has been done along just next to Moi Avenue.
Moi Avenue service lane, yes. Also Aga Khan Walk, and also on the path along the Haile Selassie Avenue ile yenye iko karibu na Central Bank.
So it's just an extension of the same?
Yep.
But as you can see, like now if you focus on this area, that's a very shallow, how do you call it, a ditch or what?
Yep.
It's very shallow. They're going to lay those blocks.
So I think
and you see, how long will that last? The foundation is very low.
You see, they cannot dig deeper, yes, because the roots of the tree.
So what's the lifespan of this project? Because okay, definitely yes, they'll sink a bit.
Because this is what is happening. You see, they break them, they make them a bit smaller. Yeah, so this is what is happening at this stretch. Maybe what is your conclusion? Because they are upgrading this walkway, and I hope you have walked up to KICC, that stretch over there, the city hallway. You have seen how the cabros are and everything coming up well. So what can be your general comment about the upgrades and how they are going to upgrade the cabros along this stretch?
Generally, it will make Nairobi cleaner, because the less bare ground we have, the better, yeah, for Nairobi. Okay. And I've seen this one with other cities. If you watch videos for people showing YouTube their content on US ground, German and the rest, yeah, what you'll discover different from what you have in Africa, there is very little bare ground. It's either filled, carpeted with the concrete material, or maybe it has grass cover. So my opinion, because I've looked at how this place looks,
yes,
probably at the end we can just estimate what will happen, because we've seen what has happened at the Kencom walkway.
Yes.
So probably the same quality we will see on this side.
Are we headed in the right direction as a city?
Yes, we are heading to the right direction. Nairobi should be made cleaner, and this one is not possible if we have loose surfaces, grounds which are not covered well, actually, either by grass or using these concrete materials. So we are heading towards the right direction.
Great. So let's hear your comments in the comment section. For those who are watching, give us your insights regarding the upgrades happening here, and let's meet on the road as Walter highlights or as we discuss more regarding what this video is all about. For those who understand this road well, we are within or along Moi Avenue, diverting all the way to Murang'a Road, giving you the amazing views. Remember, this is Shifting News. We have been from the Kencom area. Walter,
Yes.
we are now on the road.
How long is it supposed to take, if you estimate?
Depending on the traffic, could be 20 minutes. Sorry?
15 minutes.
The driver says 15 minutes.
So it's a short drive.
Depending on the traffic, because other days you can even take 2 hours.
Being that it's on a weekend, on a Saturday, might not be as busy as such. But we shouldn't forget that those areas have more personal cars than matatus.
So do you want to say those areas right now people are busy?
We can't fully assume that way, but if movement is retained the same way they do over the weekend, during the weekdays, as I intend to say, then might not be so much affected. But remember, we had done a road tour into Runda and those areas.
Yeah, we have shown people all the construction activities.
So we don't have, we never got a scenario where we had traffic on that day. So it
Yes.
should be a smooth flow. I don't expect traffic.
And right now we are diverting to Limuru Road, which is one of our focus today.
Yes, as we head to Gigiri. For those who don't know Gigiri, if we mention UN headquarters, then they'll know that it's one of the areas where we have those organization offices situated.
Oh, so you can also tell people the theme of the video.
Yes, as we mentioned earlier, we just hinted at what is happening in Kenya right now, where we have multinational organizations relocating to Kenya, and UN and its affiliate bodies are among the ones which are now choosing Kenya as one of their relocation destination from United States. They chose Kenya out of all the African countries, and again on top of the other developed nations, because we would have assumed they would go to UK or maybe Germany, but they chose to come to Kenya. So there's this trend, and it's really pushing the real estate sector, as you had mentioned some times back, that you have many people coming to Kenya now, relocating from abroad, coming to Kenya. So today we are talking about the relocation of these organizations, including UN and its affiliate bodies, coming to Kenya, and why have they chosen to come to Kenya. And this is a project, of course, which started a long time ago. It's not an overnight decision.
And I think it has been a topic since 2023.
Yes.
And there is a likelihood the relocation started even back in 2024. And most likely we expect to have more than 20,000 expatriates by mid-2026.
Yes, of course, relocation always takes a lot of time. Remember, it's not just people. They are also they have to set up office spaces. They have to do research to see whether it's going to be not equal but close to the working condition of the people who are moving from US coming to Kenya. So yes, could have started from as back as 2023 up to now, and the last movement will be for human beings after the office has been set up and they have identified a conducive living environment for their expatriates.
What could be the mantra for the now, let's say, attraction for the relocation to Nairobi city?
Okay, first of all, when we talk about Kenya, it's among the most talked about countries in Africa. So from my research and what I believe could have led to the decision, we have UN organization offices already here in Kenya.
Yeah.
So it's easier expanding than setting up new offices in other countries. The other thing is about Kenyan technological advancement. Kenya is among the top 5, I believe, in Africa, technologically advanced countries. And if you look at the living standard of Kenyans, I think it's also among the top 10 in the whole continent. And on top of that, we have one of the things that to us we think it's a problem, but to the rest of the countries, it's an advantage. We have an overflow of skilled workers in Kenya. So to us, it's a disadvantage because the more supply we have, the lower the remuneration. And again, we have all these issues of graduates who don't have jobs. But you see, to other countries who are still facing issues with population and ready workforce, especially young workforce, work labor, then to them that's an advantage. And so choosing Kenya should have been one of the reasons they looked at, so that they have this ready supply of labor.
Wow. So guys, we are along Limuru Road. I think we have done several videos during the expansion, the dualing, and maybe some of the questions we ask ourselves is the dualing one of the reasons for the relocation? Remember, we have the dualing of Limuru Road. We had the Waiyaki Way, Red Hill, Ling Road. We had Nairobi Expressway. What do you think? Could those be the reasons now that they had to ensure the flow of traffic is in favor for this relocation? Remember, this is Shifting News. For those who are visiting us for the first time, remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell to receive all notifications once we upload a new video. So imagine this, the United Nations, the world's most powerful diplomatic force, is packing its bags. Okay, I didn't mean closing doors, but they are not just moving offices, they are shifting an entire global axis. And their destination, which is a new destination, Nairobi, Kenya. For those who are watching, what could be the reasons why? And what does this mean for Africa's future? Let's interact in the comment section below. Let's hear your insights. Tell us what you think. And for sure, for decades, New York and Geneva were the UN's heartbeat. But now, Nairobi is stepping into the spotlight. And as we said from the beginning of this video, by 2026, agencies like UNICEF, the UN Women, and UNFPA, that is United Nations Fund for Population Activities, will call Kenya home. And I believe we have more than 2,000, or we can say more than 20,000 experts or expatriates or staff who are relocating, and we can say they are trading skyscrapers for sycamores. Though that could be like a tricky word to use, because also Nairobi has skyscrapers, but that is not as pronounced as what we have, let's say, in New York. And right now, people will be forgetting about the Manhattan traffic, and they'll be trading for matatu chaos in Nairobi. But do we have matatu chaos in Nairobi? Let's hear your views regarding that. But this isn't just about geography, it's a revolution. And we also ask the question, so why Nairobi? And in my view, I have given these 3 words: the cost, strategy, and Africa. So cost in terms of rent, because if you compare the rent rates in New York, when you compare them to Nairobi, they are 2 worlds apart. And strategy, I think Walter will be highlighting more on that. And about Africa, you realize that most of these UN organizations. The activities most of the time focus on Africa. And right now when they relocate to Nairobi, that is the heart of Africa, they are coming near to their places of jurisdiction. Hey, that word, English. And remember when we were starting our video, when we were at Kencom, Walter said that Kenya is an English-speaking nation. And on the right, that is the entrance to Karura Forest. And I believe you can see the ambience, and that can tell why the relocation. Walter, I have talked a lot.
No, actually, you've touched on so many things that we are supposed to talk about. But I wanted to talk about, to add on to one of the UN bodies that is relocating here. That is UNFPA, United Nations Funds for Population Activities. I think when we talk about population growth, we've seen this one increasing in Africa, Asia, and partly Indians compared to German, US, and the rest. So choosing to move UNFPA to African country, maybe Asian if that was chosen, it's a very strategic thing, because if you look at what they do, what UNFPA does, ensuring that every pregnancy is wanted. We have got issues with safe childbirth, which is a common issue we have here, because we still remember in the last regime we had a program for Beyond Zero campaign by one of our leaders. They are trying to make sure that every child that is born in Kenya does not die prematurely. The other thing that UNFPA does is supporting access to family planning, another challenge in most developing countries. We have ending gender-based violence issues, which is now becoming a widely talked about issue in Kenya and Africa in general. Because initially, I think we believed that punishing the women was a way of like putting them in line, which was a very wrong, bad perception. But nowadays, people are talking about gender-based violence, and they are bringing it openly, so that it's not kept in secret. People are suffering their hands when they are in marriage or maybe in any workplaces. So those gender-based violence issues nowadays, it's also one of the things being handled by UNFPA. And then lastly, advancing youth empowerment. So if you look at those things, they really need to be strategically located in a place where the population is growing or is still very young. So I support it, and I believe that it's going to add value here in Kenya, and also touch more across the whole continent.
Wow, let's get your insights. And remember guys, we hailed an Uber. I don't know if the driver will be okay to share his name and his perspectives, and if he's okay, he can share his number. When you are in Nairobi, you can reach out to him. I believe he understands Nairobi well. Maybe Dere, are you comfortable?
Yeah? Okay, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. My name is Albert Omwega. I come from Kisii. I'm an Uber driver. So when you are within Nairobi,
yes,
you can look for me. My number is 0705 371 733. So when you are in Nairobi, you can contact me.
And what did you say about this relocation, or about the UN staff coming here to Kenya?
I think if they come here in Kenya,
yes,
everything will be okay.
Okay.
You are welcome.
Thank you. So you have heard from Albert. He's the one taking us from Nairobi CBD, and now we are diverting to UN Avenue, just showing you. Remember the last time we were here, expansions were happening along the Limuru Road and also along this UN Avenue. And Walter, there are things I talked about Nairobi Expressway, about Red Hill Link Road, and expansion of Limuru Road. Do you think it was a strategy?
Okay, that will depend on when the timelines, because the decision to move UN bodies to Kenya was just a few years ago. But if you look at expressway and all those other infrastructure, they began actually during the previous regime, which was earlier, much earlier. So probably they had a hint, or maybe it was just general development of the country to make sure that we have good infrastructure. but now you see it has added value, because I'm so sure before the UN Council decided that they're moving UN to Kenya, they had to look into the issues of infrastructure, both the roads and connectivity. All those added value. So I think some of them, they might be related now, but could have been planned different.
And I hear most landlords and landladies are quoting their rent rates in dollars.
Yes, we have our Kenyan culture, so which is still, you see, when the demand is increasing and you know the kind of clientele you're going to expect, then that is bound to happen. We are used to it. It's one of our ways of doing things. So I believe, yes, they'll quote prices in dollars, and again there will be an increase, a very big surge increase in prices for rentals here in Kenya.
Wow. Wow, so that's interesting. So that means Gigiri's real estate is booming, and most likely the land rates or rents will increase, and more stuff are coming here in Kenya. I hope that is going to open more opportunities, more jobs. What do you think, our viewers? And for UN staff, will Nairobi's charm win over families used to New York's hustle? And for Africa, is this finally our moment to lead global conversations? But one thing is clear, the world is shifting and Nairobi is at the center. Will this be Kenya's golden ticket or a missed opportunity? What do you think? Drop a comment and don't forget to subscribe to Shifting News as we track these historic transformations, one headline at a time.
And actually, some of the key areas that are going to be affected, we have Runda, we have Muthaiga, we have Gigiri, Nyari as mentioned, Karen, Kilimani and Lavington, Roslyn and Kitisuru. Those are some of the areas which are considered high-end residential areas. And as you can see from the video we've covered, that short trip when we took that turn to this UN region, most of those roads have been dualed recently. There's a time we recorded a video of that expansion taking place. Maybe could attach a link to show how the progress began.
Okay, thank you. So what is your final word?
No, my final word is, Kenya is a welcoming place. As the driver said, it will be good for them to come. I know people have different perspectives about Kenya. They have seen about violence in Kenya, the issue of police brutality and the rest, but generally Kenya is a very peaceful place. So we welcome all of them, and they form part of who we are.
Wow. So I hope you have enjoyed the video. So Mr. Albert, maybe you can just tell your final words and also remind people about your number, and those who will be in Nairobi, if they wish to take a tour around, they can reach you. You never know.
Okay, let me repeat my number.
And remember, in your free time, to subscribe to Shifting News on YouTube channel.
Oh, it's okay, I will make it. Okay, my number is 0705 371 733. So when you are within Nairobi, you can just reach me. I will take you everywhere anywhere you want.
Great. So remember, in Nairobi we have weather, we have roads, driving, cost of living, animals, creepy crawlers like spiders, snakes and insects, but they're not that more like in London. So we have about living standards in Nairobi, safety, shopping. Wow, a lot of things that we have not highlighted, and also the Kenyan culture. Thank you for watching this video up to this far. Make sure you like it, comment, subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive all notifications once we upload a new video. Thank you and see you in our next video.
Okay, so karibuni sana. We are waiting for you.
Shifting News. Explore, feel, shift. Shifting News. Explore